partially here. And tonight, in accordance with Section 115 of the Missouri statutes, as Vice Chairman of the 15th District Republican Legislative Committee, I hereby call this meeting to order. Please rise.
I wanted to thank Governor Nixon for actually calling this special election. Actually, I contacted his office about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and asked if we were ever going to see this election, because actually I had been called by some of the constituents in the area saying they were concerned that this wouldn't happen, that they were going to be without representation for over 18 months. So I was happy to receive a call that it finally was going to happen. I also like to thank the committee for coming out tonight, because obviously this is going to be a very difficult decision. And then also the audience. I'd like to thank all of you here, because obviously you're here because you have an interest in government and you want to make sure that it's done right. What kind of world are my children going up in today? Many adults, some of my friends included, just don't seem to understand what type of future we are leaving for our children. Just a few years ago, I wanted to join the military, but I found out I had waited too long and now was too old. Yes, even for the Army, and that's where my dad served, so it was a lesson really well served. As Thomas Jefferson said, never put off tomorrow what you can do today. I'm here tonight because when you realize you want to do something for the rest of your life and make a difference, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible. You know, I have 2 children, and the future that our federal government is making for them is just unacceptable. Thus, I believe that it is time that the states stand up for their rights as given to us in the Constitution and stop the federal government from mortgaging our children's future and imposing rules and regulations on them that the government has no right doing. In these challenging times, I will be a leader who will fight for long-term solutions to revitalize our economy and create jobs, improve our schools, and make state government more efficient, transparent, and accountable. There's a quote I like. It says, "Leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders." I've always thought that you measure your success not only what you did when you were in office, but also how that organization operates after you're gone. For instance, I was in the St. Charles JCs. I was president there, and when I took over as president, that chapter was on the verge of extinction. But within the 1 year that I was president, we nearly doubled our membership, and I had gotten them back on track with new ideas. And in the years that immediately followed that, they are continuing to be one of the top chapters in our state and in our nation. That's leaving something better than when you arrived. I've also had the opportunity to serve as the president at the Harvest Ridge PTO for 2 years. For years, the PTO kind of lingered and they didn't have leadership. But I stepped up to the plate, and also I could be proud that this year, the year after I'm president, I was able to get their president an entirely full board with every leadership position filled, and I see a re-emergence of enthusiasm there at the school. As Ronald Reagan said, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things, he's the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. Someone told me tonight is very similar to a primary. I have to appeal to the voters, and of those voters, 2 are former state reps, 2 are parents of a former state rep, and 1 is the spouse of a former state rep. Now, that's not your normal slate of voters, but that's good because these people obviously know what it takes to be a state rep. We also have 3 very qualified candidates. I would hate to have to really decide or be the one that decides this. We are probably all having the same or similar views on the issues. We are all very strong conservative Republicans, and obviously we all want the same job. But there are some differences between us. Besides they're guys and I'm a girl, that's pretty obvious. But what makes Chrissy Summer different? Number 1, it is important to have a candidate who can actually go door to door and spend the time. It wasn't that long ago that our district, District 15, was held by a Democrat. And we really don't want that to happen again. Even though this election is just for the short term, once those lines are redrawn, we don't want an incumbent who's a Democrat in the office. I have no restrictions on time. I can give 24/7 to this campaign and to the job. I have a husband and family that are completely devoted and are backing me up and encouraging me to go on. They're actually excited about this whole thing. 2, I have name recognition. Being a PTO president at Harvest Ridge Elementary for 2 years, 2009 to 2011, has put my name in front of all of the parents over at Harvest Ridge. And the majority of District 15 comprises of the Harvest Ridge area, so I have a really good base there. I've also been involved in the St. Charles community since 1987. And then there's my husband, Mike, who probably most of you know, Mike Summer. So who hasn't heard the name Summer in St. Louis? 3, I have experience. With over 100 hours and 9 years of training at JC-Mock legislatures, writing over 65 bills and being awarded Most Outstanding Legislator for the House and the Charles Schulten Award for the Most Outstanding Legislator in both the House and the Senate, I have hands-on experience. I also have 30 years experience in the business world. I was the vice president of my parents' company. I ran their accounting, sales, and marketing. I'm also helped my husband's CPA firm and the office building that we own. In addition, I'm a longtime community leader and volunteer in St. Charles. So I may have the name recognition, I obviously have the time and life experience, but I don't think that's enough. Maybe this one will close the deal for you. My number 4, I am the only nominee that holds an elected position, and that elected position was actually previously held by Sally Faith. Back in 2008, when Sally Faith decided she didn't want to seek re-election for the Central Committee, I decided to run in her spot. I have served on the SCC-RCC ever since. And now it's time to fill Sally's shoes again in the Missouri legislature. I think I'm the logical choice. Filling her shoes is something I'd be proud to do again. Many of you may know Steve Johnson. He is the president of the St. Charles Package Arms. Steve said this of me: Chrissy will dedicate the time required to represent St. Charles County small business, education, and the Republican Party in a positive fashion, bringing to Jefferson City a common sense approach to government. It is time that we take a look in the mirror and see and consider what future we're leaving for our children. Personally, I'm not completely satisfied with the choices that are being made for our children's future. I want our children to enjoy the same successes that we did growing up and achieve their dreams. My fear is that we're going to leave them with a government that's going to be increasingly able to dictate to them and regulate their lives and place a debt burden on them that is just going to be all-consuming. I leave you with this. Ronald Reagan said, "The family has always been the cornerstone of American society. Our families nurture, preserve, and pass on to each succeeding generation the values that we cherish. The values are the foundation of our freedoms." I look forward to my time in Jefferson City and can assure you that I will fight to protect our future so that my children, my children's children, and all the children of Missouri have a better life ahead of them. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to serving the citizens of St. Charles County and the state of Missouri.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the opportunity to come speak before you this evening. We are at a crossroads. Not since the last great financial crisis have we seen such an erosion of our liberties. Next year, we will have the opportunity to elect our new U.S. Senator and also our next United States Representative. While we work hard to elect those at the federal level that we hope will stem this liberal tide, now, right now, you have a choice before you that can shape the future of St. Charles County and the state of Missouri for possibly the next 9 years. It is not a choice to be taken lightly. The people of the 15th District, along with all of St. Charles County, are good people with good values. They have been well represented in the past, and they deserve to be well represented in the future. I am Matt Allen. I am a Republican. I have always been a Republican. I will always be a Republican. And I am here to ask for your vote. I was born in St. Louis almost 32 years ago. I've lived here all my life, attending the Parkway School District for elementary school, and then beginning my home education in the 7th grade. Because of that home education, I was able to actually be in Jefferson City a lot during session, learning much about how state government works, or I should rather say, how state government doesn't work, since those were the days of Griffin as the speaker. I graduated high school in 1998 and began attending Hillsdale College, #1 on Princeton Review's list of schools with conservative students. While there, I was on the debate team all 4 years, taking home speaker awards from several tournaments. I have 2 degrees from Hillsdale, one in economics and one in history, graduating cum laude in 2002. During the summers, I was an intern at the Boeing Company and began working there full-time after graduation. It was at Hillsdale that I met Elizabeth and we were married shortly after graduation. She began her graduate studies at Washington University, graduating with her Master of Social Work in 2004, and then helped start an adoption agency, A Gift of Hope Adoptions. I began my graduate studies at Maryville University in St. Louis, graduating in 2005 with my Master of Business Administration with a concentration in management. We moved to St. Charles in 2004 to begin raising our family, and we immediately adopted our dog Chance from the St. Charles Humane Society, our first family addition. Our first child, David, was born in 2006. Rachel followed in 2008, and Daniel in 2010. David attends Harvest Ridge Elementary in the Francis Howell District, and Rachel has begun attending preschool at Westgate Christian Academy. We are extremely active members in our fellowship, Jubilee Church, St. Charles County, where I lead the video team and Elizabeth leads the hospitality team. In 2008, I was appointed to the St. Charles Planning and Zoning Commission, a local government decision-making body. I began working on campaigns in 1992 at the age of 12. I started with Jim Talon's first congressional run and a few others that season and never looked back, finding a passion in political activity. I worked on numerous campaigns throughout the years, both for candidates and for other ballot initiatives. I've worked in various capacities, from data entry, parade walking, yard sign installation, to coordination of volunteers, parades and yard signs, to county coordinator. I've always been willing to work where requested. When my wife and I lived in St. Louis, we were active members of the St. Louis Young Republicans. And as most of you know, I restarted the St. Charles Young Republicans in 2006 from scratch, with not much more than some seed money from Chuck Gross, a few old email lists, and the best vice president I could have ever asked for, Brian Spencer. The St. Charles Young Republicans has become the premier YR club in the state. We've held candidate forums, got charity golf tournaments, and high school nights. Many of you participate in our annual trivia night, which is a great time for us to get together and just enjoy each other's company. And our signature event, the campaign school, was a resounding success and put our club on the map. I was president for 3 years there and continued my service to that club as treasurer. I have been involved in the Lewis and Clark Pachyderms Club for the past few years as well. I was a board member, then vice president, finally president this year, unfortunately having to resign that position because of the campaign. Through these organizations, I have met many great people, overseen many events that have helped the Republican Party, both in St. Charles and Missouri as a whole, and met many elected officials outside of the St. Charles area. I believe in the sanctity of life, womb to tomb. I believe that the foundation of society is family, church, and local community, not the government. I believe in taking personal responsibility rather than blaming others for any misfortune. I believe that the government does not create anything, not jobs, not prosperity. I believe that the best way to stimulate the economy is to provide the best environment to prosper, not by the government spending ours and our children's money. During these trying times, we need leaders to stand in the gap. While Missouri has done better than, say, our neighbors to the east, I believe that we still have much work to do. Missouri lost a congressional seat in the last census. I believe we have the potential to go the opposite direction. While we are not in dire straits, jobs are fleeing Missouri, and we need to plug that leak, lest our circumstances do become dire. We need someone with a strong financial background, yet who understands the fundamentals of liberty, federalism, and the proper role of government. Ladies and gentlemen, I am that candidate. I have the leadership qualities necessary for the job. When I join an organization, I don't merely join, I become involved. I don't seek to take over, but if I see a need, I will fill it. In the Young Republicans and Pachyderms, I have served in the office of president, vice president, treasurer, and board member. On the campaigns I've worked, I've often taken some sort of leadership role, whether I was coordinating yard signs and parades, or even being a county coordinator. Throughout my life, people have seen a leadership quality in me, and have always answered the call. Tonight, I am here because I see a need, and I am ready to answer that call. I have the fight, fire, and exuberance of youth, with the maturity coming from 20 years in the campaign trail, which can match any seasoned veteran. I have almost 20 years of time in the campaign trenches, but I'm always willing to learn more from others. I think I know a lot about campaigns, but I know I don't know everything. You have worked harder than most to make sure that St. Charles is the most Republican county in the state, and I look forward to working with you for years to come as a representative. I have never shied away from hard work, and I'm ready to start working now. My campaign committee is open, and it's been open for some time. I am raising and expending money. You have my ethics filings in front of you. You can take a look at some of each of those. I've already started asking friends and family for money. I look forward to asking complete strangers. I've got my logo, which you can see on my business card, which will translate perfectly into my yard signs. Remit envelopes, also you have examples of. My website is up and live and running. I've got a labor force ready to go, as you can see from this crowd. Many showed up wearing my shirts. I didn't ask them to come here to do that to try and sway your votes. It was an example of, I made a few calls in a couple days, and I got this many people here. Imagine what I could do with a few weeks worth of time to get people. I am ready to even start walking tomorrow night, if needs be. I'm ready for even when I get to the legislature. I've been moved to a position in my work where I can be gone for 5 months of the year and pick up right back where I left off. My in-laws live in Columbia, and I'll be staying with them while I'm there, a mere 20 minutes away. And for those really long nights where I don't even feel like driving that far, my brother has an apartment in Jefferson City, and I can crash there. I did ask his permission before I came to the meeting. I have a relationship with many of the state representatives and leadership as well. I've been able to meet dozens of them through the Young Republicans, pachyderms, and other activities. I am ready, willing, and able to hit the ground running. You are making a decision tonight that will span many years, and I commit to the long term. This is not some flash-in-the-pan idea for me. Politics has always been my passion, and my duty as a representative will be paramount to me. Make no mistake, you've got me for the long haul. I have the support of my family, my friends, acquaintances, even a few strangers. With their help, and with your help, we will win this election in November, and we will hold St. Charles for Republicans for years to come. When it comes down to it, it's not about me. It's not about any of us who are running for this nomination. It's not about the names we could drop. It's not about how long our resumes are. It's about the people in this room. It's about the people outside these walls. People of the 15th District. They're good people. They've been wonderfully represented in the past. And they deserve the same in the future. Who has the experience to both win the election in November, the subsequent elections, and also be the best representative for the people of this district? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt Aylen. I have that experience, and I'm here to ask for your vote. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Carl Moss. I sent each of the members of the 15th Legislative Committee a copy of my bio. I would like to highlight a few of the items covered in the bio and add some things that were not listed. As a student, I attended a Catholic grade school, St. Mary's, and served as an altar boy. As a young adult, I earned the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. My Boy Scouting troop sent me to junior leader training, and while there, I was elected by my fellow junior leaders to the position of honorary permanent patrol leader. As a young adult, I was asked to serve the troop as a junior assistant scoutmaster and a Weeble leader for scouts crossing over from Cub Scouts. I also was elected by my fellow scouts to the Order of the Arrow and reached the position of brotherhood in the Order of the Arrow. Linda and I will be celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary this September. I have a son, CJ, who just turned 17. Linda and CJ are the most wonderful things that has ever happened in my life. I have lived in St. Charles County since 1984. We moved here from Hazelwood, where we bought our first home while Linda and I were still in college. We were challenged by the bank as to our ability to secure a loan. We were putting 20% down, and I was working 32 to 35 hours a week at a grocery store while attending college full-time. I asked to see Mr. Armbruster, many of you remember him, the president of the bank, and told the loan officer that Mr. Armbruster had told me when he presented me with my Eagle Scout rank that if I ever needed anything, to come see him. I figured that was this time. I was immediately informed that a home loan was approved. Early one morning on 8/8/78, while unloading the grocery truck, I had a life-changing event to take place. I cut off a part of my left thumb. I had graduated from college with a political science degree and a minor in economics, and was offered to be trained by the owner of the store to become its store manager. But I was wrestling with that, and I really wanted to do something else, and this accident gave me the opportunity to think a little harder about that. My wife had just started with General American Life Insurance and introduced me to the company representatives and my future career. I have been a licensed agent ever since then. In my first 6 months as a full-time agent, I qualified for an organization known as the $1 Million Roundtable. Only 0.5% of licensed insurance agents ever qualified. Early in my insurance career, I was asked to serve on the St. Louis Board of Life Underwriters. I accepted and was voted on the board by its membership. Within a short while, I found myself serving on the local, state, and national board all at the same time. I was elected by the association membership to serve as president of the St. Louis and Missouri State Association. Elected by 1,725 voting delegates, representing 140,000 members, to serve on the National Association Board of Trustees. I was elected to serve as a national chairman of the Professional Development Committee 3 times, the Southwest Regional Chair of the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors Political Action Committee, NAFAPAC, for 9 years. I served as a regional membership chair of the National Association of Health Insurance Agents, AHIA. While chairing the membership chair of the St. Louis and the regional membership chair of AHIA, I led the nation's efforts in membership increasing and receiving national recognition results. I was selected and honored as St. Louis and the Missouri State Insurance and Financial Advisor of the Year and inducted into St. Louis Hall of Fame. Created and co-founded an organization, now a PAC, known as Citizens for Responsible Community, in order to challenge and successfully repeal 2 St. Charles City ordinances through a referendum petition process. Organized and led over 100 volunteers, collected over 5,000 signatures, developed campaign material, and over the life of this PAC, raised over $300,000. Worked across party lines to attach to a banking bill creating legislation protecting cash values of life insurance policies and thereby protecting families in a time of need. Spearheaded a county charter amendment allowing the county to intervene in inappropriate annexation attempts. Elected by the Heritage homeowners on 5 separate elections to serve 5 2-year terms on a Heritage Residents Association board for a total of 10 years. Elected 6 separate times to serve as Heritage's president. This is a community of approximately 1,350 homes. As a member of the St. Charles County Pachyderms, served as vice president, membership chair, program chair, and currently serving as a board member. I work as the executive aide to the mayor of the city of O'Fallon, Missouri. I have served as an assistant Sunday school teacher, a Sunday morning door greeter, 5th and 6th grade cabin dad, tending to the needs of kids while in camp, and Christian high school's marching band, jazz band, performance and competition assistant, and camp chaperone. I have come full circle in scouting, and over the last 6 years have served as Boy Scout Troop 911's Assistant Scoutmaster, Quartermaster in charge of all of the troops' equipment purchasing, outfitting, and transporting of equipment to various outings. Organized a troop trip to Washington, D.C., transporting 100 scouts and their families. I'm currently serving as Troop 911's committee chair. From my youth, I have shown a pattern of responsibility, leadership, motivation of self and others, perseverance, know-how, and in my behavior and in getting things done. Throughout these experiences, I've proven myself to be both electable and effective. I believe that these experiences shared and many of those not mentioned have prepared me for the progress in the process and the experience necessary to serve the 15th District as its state representative. Thank you. And now-
Back to order.